after our own mental health. Kia ora, Shaun, and welcome to Pacific Mornings.
Kia ora, warm Pacific greetings to you, Val.
Lovely to have you. We appreciate it, Shaun. Now, Mental Health Awareness Week is just 1 month away, from 18th to the 24th of September. Shaun, what will the Mental Foundation be recommending people do to mark the week?
Yeah, well, this week we're focusing on the 5 ways to well-being, and these are kind of 5 activity types or habits or things people can do in their daily lives that boost their well-being. And so we've got 5 days and 5 ways, and that works really well. So it's things like connecting with other people. It is giving, being generous with your time, and being there for others. It's being active, so keeping your body moving, because there's a connection between our bodies and our minds. It's taking notice, so spending some time just sort of being in the moment and relaxing, maybe taking notice of nature, or having gratitude for the little things that give us joy. And keep learning. Our brains are designed to be open and to learn new things. So every day's got one of those themes, but it's actually all of those things all of the time that will make the big difference for everybody's mental health.
Shaun, how did you come up with the idea of 5 ways to well-being?
Well, we didn't. I wish we were that smart, but it's actually something that's been developed internationally. Came out of a big inquiry into well-being in England, and it looked at. I always say it's not rocket science. When you hear those 5 things, they actually make a lot of sort of common sense, but it is actually based on heaps of science. Looking right across from sports psychology to education to neuroscience. And it's really all those things have an evidence base that they will improve our mental health. And the way I think about it is, we know, for example, that if you do some sort of exercise, it creates endorphins. Most people know that. Actually, all the little bits of sort of brain chemistry that we need to keep ourselves healthy are created by things we do. So, by interacting with you right now, I'm creating sort of oxytocin. If I spend time in nature, I'm sort of helping to build my serotonin and my oxytocin. So we need to have lifestyles, you need to have little habits that help our bodies create these little pops of the hormones and the chemicals that we need to be healthy. So that's some of the science behind it, but you don't really need to know that. I mean, I think most people know if you go for a walk on the beach or go to the park with the kids, it just gives you that little wee boost. And it's about building those things into your life as regularly as you can.
Can your 5 ways to well-being be applied to different issues and scenarios? For example, a recent study has found that 4 out of 5 Pasifika people have experienced financial stress in the last 12 months. How could Pasifika families or individuals apply the 5 ways to well-being, help us deal with these sort of anxieties?
Yeah, look, absolutely, it can. It won't take the financial stress away. I guess much of our mental health and well-being is about how we react to the things that happen in our lives and what support we have to deal with them. So, your is going to go through rough seas at different times, and crikey, we've been going through a lot of rough seas in the last few years. And I guess what things like the 5 ways to well-being, and also Te Whare Tapawhā is another really good framework. What these things do is they help us to keep working on our mental fitness, I suppose, and our emotional fitness. It's a little bit like if you get physically sick or you have an accident and you hurt your body, if you're physically fit, you're more likely to recover from that, more quickly.
Mm.
And it's a little bit the same with our mental health. If we hit the rough seas of economic stresses, won't take the economic stress away, but emotionally and mentally we'll be able to cope better with those difficult times if we've just got these habits built into our lives in an ongoing way. So yeah, I mean, there are some big issues facing Pacific families and many people in the community, and this is not that kind of magic wand that will
Mm.
solve all the problems, but you're much more likely to be able to handle that in the best way you possibly can if you can keep your spirits up, really keep your mental and emotional well-being as good as it can possibly be.
Can we apply the 5 ways to well-being to issues such as law and order? Concerns about safety in our homes and neighborhoods. What would you recommend?
Yeah, look, absolutely. The key thing to the 5 ways to well-being and these kind of habits, these things we do, these lifestyle things, is it's not just a 1 week thing, and it's not just something that you do when there's a problem. Um, what we're trying to encourage people to do is create these habits. Do this on a regular basis, and Pacific people are awesome at staying connected to whānau and community. So, I think there are a lot of strengths already in the Pacific community, but we all need encouragement
Mm.
to do as much of this as we can. And again, look, I was just looking at some evidence yesterday from the construction sector, and where the more people are doing things that are positive for their well-being, the more they're coping better with the tough times that are hitting that industry. And again, there'll be a lot of Pacific people working in that industry. So
Mm.
it's just sort of building our fitness.
Mm.
So yeah, if our communities are facing things like crime and law and order and safety, this won't take that away, but it will help us to be in a better emotional state for dealing with that pressure.
Yeah. So to clarify, Shaun, as you say, the 5 ways to well-being works across different ethnic groups and communities, just such as our Pasifika communities as well.
Yeah, because it's not a specific thing; it's a sort of type of thing. So,
Mm.
um, connecting with other people, different cultures, different communities will do that in different ways. Being active, different communities, different cultures will do that in different ways. So, um, uh, uh, different forms of dance or kapahaka
Mm.
or sport or uh, whatever people are into. It's not like you must go running or you must take a walk every day. It's whatever keeps your body moving, and
Mm.
so it can apply in heaps of different ways. Same with keep learning. That's not about going to school or getting another,
Mm.
doing formal study. It's just keeping your mind active and open. So it might be learning uh, weaving, or it might be learning to play the guitar a little bit, or it might just be kind of being interested in what's going on in your community and
Mm.
trying to sort of keep engaged with that. So there just are lots of different ways that you can put these ideas into practice. So that is why it's kind of universal,
Mm.
because we have our cultures and our experiences, and they guide us into what form of stuff we do. But beneath it all, as human beings, we all need to connect. We all need to give to one another. We all need to take time to sort of just really appreciate the little things and spend time in the moment. We all need to have some kind of physical activity. We all have minds, and we all need to keep those minds active and learning. How you do it, that's entirely kind of appropriate to each culture and each individual. But yeah, but but fundamentally as humans, this works for everybody.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Shaun, do you have any resources that the public can access?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a bunch of resources that go out for Mental Health Awareness Week, and this has now become a very big thing. I mean, within the first 40 minutes, we had about 1,000 resources went out. It's a little bit like people, waiting for a Rihanna concert ticket. They must have been waiting for the website to go live. So you can go to Mental Health Awareness Week. Just look that up, and you'll find a website that with resources there. We also have the 5 Ways to Wellbeing on the Mental Health Foundation website, and you'll find it in Samoan language there. I keep a fridge magnet of them on my fridge because. So I live with bipolar disorder, so I have quite a few challenges to my mental health. But remembering to sort of keep these 5 types of activities going in my life, and doing that is a really important way that I manage, a long-term mental illness. And when I have times of depression or anxiety, which I do, I double down on this stuff, and I'll get out in the garden and do the weeding. Even though I feel stink, I know that that's actually slowly helping to rebuild my mental health by building up. I know what's going on inside my body. It's slowly building back the sort of healthy levels of those different brain chemicals, but. I just know that slowly over a couple of weeks, if I keep working at these things, if I keep making sure I say hi to my neighbour, even if I feel terrible and don't want to talk to people, if I go for a walk every day, I know it's going to make me feel better, and my experience is that's what happens. But then I try to keep that stuff going all the time, because that makes me better able to cope with difficult things and less likely to get into those times of depression.
I agree with you there, Shaun, because for me, I do boxing, and that helps me to look after my 3 young boys.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I understand what you're talking about. Now, Shaun,
I'm sure it makes them sort of do what you say when Mum says do this.
Absolutely. Let's hope so. Now, Shaun, New Zealand, like many other countries, has had a roller coaster a few years. Many of us have experienced uncertainty and anxiety. Is it possible to characterize our mental health as a nation? Is that a thing?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, mental health is a collective thing, and it tends to be something that we grow together. So a lot of what we try to do is encourage a sense of community too, and build on those positive things. Like I said, Pacific people have a lot of positive things built in. But as a nation, yes, we're certainly been challenged, and the whole world is in this basket. And COVID and all the impacts of that, and then climate change, and the weather events, all of these things have really impacted, particularly for young people. Young people's mental well-being is really challenged because they're looking at the future and going, what the hell is it going to be like? So yeah, we've definitely seen a trend of more anxiety, more low well-being. On the positive side, though, there is a really strong resilience within New Zealand, and we can build on that. And that is what we're trying to do. And I think the fact that people are kind of like lapping up the sorts of things like Mental Health Awareness Week with 1,000 resources going out, within the first hour, just tells me that people really want this kind of thing, that people are looking for these positive things and things that they can do, because this is not about waiting till you get into crisis and then needing a doctor to help you out. This is about, I can do stuff, you can do stuff, and I can support you, you can support me.
Mm.
So we have the power to really help to grow our positive mental health and our well-being. So yeah, while it is challenging times for New Zealand, and as a community, I'd say we're being challenged harder than we've been for many years.
Mm.
I'm still really optimistic. I think once people realise there's something they can do themselves and that they can support one another, people get excited. I mean, I literally have been at like barbecues or something and started talking about the 5 ways to well-being. People run off and get a back of an envelope and write them down because it's like, oh my God, there's something I can do. I'm able to do this. So, and that's how I felt when I first learned about it. It was like, suddenly it was like, oh wow, I have some control over how I think and feel.
And Shaun, have you got any final thoughts you want to share with us about Mental Health Week, or how we can better manage our own mental health through the 5 ways to well-being?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I think, one of the fundamental things is take a few minutes to just think about the things that do make you feel good. Like you're talking about your boxing, like everybody will have some things that give them little moments of a boost. And the 5 ways to well-being just kind of helps us have a framework to think, oh yeah, no, I do need to make sure I stay connected to, and going to church does make me feel better because I connect with that community. I do need to go for a walk. Maybe I'll walk to the shops. So yeah, you have the answers is what I'd say. Just take a moment to find your own answers and then lock those habits in, keep them going. It's not just a 1 week thing, it's an all the time thing.
Shaun, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. It was a